Hi, I'm Richard Friedman, and welcome to my top three October Trump cartoons as of October 16th countdown. The countdown of so far the top three cartoons, my favorite actually for October thus far. Today, October 16th. Glad to see you folks. And here is the from October 2nd, and here introducing you to the main characters in this cartoon. Here we have, for those of you who are old enough to remember Senator Barry Goldwater, and we have here the Titanic, Trump with the Titanic and his three officers on the Titanic is Officer Pompeo, Officer Giuliani, and Officer Barr. And Trump is like Captain Smith of the Titanic, is played by President Trump. President Donald J. Trump plays Captain Smith of the Titanic here. You see? And here in this cartoon, they've already passed the whistleblower iceberg. This is the whistleblower. See, it's a whistle, and there's the ice embedded in the iceberg is the whistle. And they already struck the iceberg here in this cartoon, and they're just kind of slowing down a little bit as the water is seeping through the damage caused by the crash of the iceberg, hitting the iceberg. And here you got your Titanic here, you got your three smokestacks. This one here isn't broken, it was just put in to make the ship look larger than it really was, even as large as it was back then, for cosmetic purposes. So I didn't leave out the smoke, you know that. Okay, now here is the story, what's going on here. So again, this is Senator Barry Goldwater here. And what I want to give you a little background for those of you who weren't around then, way back in 1964, when Barry Goldwater ran for the presidency against Lyndon Johnson. Barry Goldwater, you got to give the man respect, for he was kind of like a John Bolton character in a way today. He was very very strong to the right, and he believed, basically he said that he was going to go all out to win in Vietnam, and by that he meant people assumed that he used nuclear weapons to some limited extent, and he came up with all kinds of justifications for his position, and very eloquent he put it, you know, and I don't want to give you a history lesson here, but he lost in a landslide to Lyndon Johnson. And Lyndon Johnson was a peace candidate who said, we can't go crazy with this Barry Goldwater. And they did all these kind of things where a little girl was playing with flowers in the backyard, and boom, a nuclear bomb went off, and then you see the screen go black. And that was, you let Goldwater, and this is where we're headed to. And here we know Lyndon Johnson, what happened there. We're not going to get into that now, but with Vietnam and everything. So Barry Goldwater was straightforward, and then he in the same thing with Richard Nixon. When we had Nixon facing the Watergate, it was Barry Goldwater who went up to the White House and confronted Nixon and said, "And look here, I mean, we're all us Republicans will stand firm that you broke the law here in the conspiracy to cover up the Watergate burglary, and we have you on tape. And there's no point putting the country through the ordeal of a trial and an impeachment." So Nixon just went calmly and he resigned. And it was if not for Barry Goldwater, it might not have come out that way. It might not have happened that way. Barry Goldwater, I remember as a kid watching him. I saw Barry Goldwater walking up to the White House, and he was walking there. Boom. He was really moving those arms. I just said to myself, wow, this is going to be like Showdown at the OK Corral here. And I know what the outcome in my mind was going to be. And sure enough, that's what happened. So I'm just trying to introduce to those people who weren't around to see Barry Goldwater, and why I picked him for this cartoon, and why his ghost coming back today would be an interesting thing. So that's the background to this cartoon. Okay, here we go with the cartoon. The ghost of Barry Goldwater, U.S. Senator from Arizona, and the U.S. Republican Party's nominee for president in the 1964 election, returns to give his take on the Trump presidency crisis sparked by the whistleblower. Goldwater successfully urged President Nixon to resign in 1974 when evidence of cover-up in Watergate scandal became very evident. Okay, now, those of you who were around 64 get a laugh at this cartoon. I was close to Mr. Goldwater, in terms of making his figure, to bring him to life here. And here he goes. And here he sees what's going on here. And he's saying, Captain Trump and his loyal officers have put Titanic in full speed reverse to get another shot at this whistleblower iceberg they just hit here. So Trump is here, and he's saying, this is an order, reverse full speed. You see? So this is what Barry Goldwater would have commented on in terms of what he would have seen happening here, as opposed to what happened with President Nixon, who finally bit the, he bit the bullet and said, well, this is it. And so I'm just trying to give you we don't have Barry Goldwater around today no more. That's for sure. That is a certainty. Anyway, okay, so now here on the Titanic, here we have Barr, we have Giuliani, and here is the Secretary of State. And so here we have these three people who are, in a sense, captivated on the Titanic, and Trump is giving the order. Okay, so you can see here what's going on here. Okay, and he's ordering full speed ahead, and this is the whistleblower, the whistle entombed in the iceberg. So he's going back, in a way. Trump is going back that way because he keeps rehashing and proclaiming himself. Things that going back to this other incident, it was a perfect conversation with the leader of the Ukraine, and going back now to everything else. He seems to just kind of like add gasoline to the fire in terms of all the controversies that are surrounding him, and it's self-perpetuating. So that's what I'm saying here with this thing. Had he been captain, he said, let's go back and have another shot at that iceberg. Okay. Now, okay. Oh, by the way, this was Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. Second there, I pulled a little bit of forgetfulness there, a senior moment. Okay, and here we go. Here's the one from October 9th, and here is Secretary Pompeo, the character here. Also, same thing as with Goldwater, I tried to capture the essence of his being in my drawing, and I did the best I could here, and Trump on his tweet. So here goes. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says the U.S. didn't give Turkey a green light to invade Syria and attack Kurdish forces following Trump announcing withdrawal of U.S. forces in northeastern Syria, basically defending the President Trump. This is October 9th. Now, that's his position in terms of what he's saying to the American people. I don't know what he's thinking, but this is what he said to the American people. And here is Secretary Pompeo going on. This is basically what he's saying, what he said. Turkey had a legitimate security concern in invading Syria and attacking Kurdish-led Syrian democratic forces who have been loyal allies to the U.S. in fighting ISIS. From the president's call with Turkey's leader, it is clear the withdrawal was to protect U.S. troops. Now, Pompeo, basically, Secretary Pompeo, is saying, well, the president did this to protect our troops. But the point is that our troops are there to protect the people, and it goes back to protecting the people of the United States. And this move here is making the people of the United States more vulnerable to people going to, if they know that we're not a credible entity and we can't get allies and we can't put a group together, like going back to what George H.W. Bush, when we went into Kuwait, if we can't do that, then we're reduced to a paper tiger, because we certainly not going to, a terrorist attack or something like that, we're not going to launch nuclear weapons and say, well, maybe we'll get one or two with a nuclear bomb. We're a paper tiger, reduced to, without allies, we're a paper tiger, even with all our weapons. It just comes down to that in this day and age, you know? So what Pompeo is basically saying, well, the function of American troops is to protect the American people, and if we're doing this, we're putting the American people in jeopardy of being here in the homeland, being under, it's no joke, but it's fundamentally that. So there is a conflict there. I see it as because the American military is supposed to protect the American people, and that's what they're there. That's their sacrifice, a great sacrifice they made. And I mean, I tell you, after 9/11, I have a distinct memory. I was ready to sign up myself. I went down. I went to a dentist who was right next to a recruiting station, coincidentally, and I walked in there and said, I'm ready to go. And the guy asked me my birthday, and he said, go on, go home, go to sleep, you know. So I was going to do it. I was ready to do it and sign up, because I felt that this was an attack, you know. This was, you know, and so what I'm saying to you is that there is a I don't know, there's a disconnect here somewhere when you start talking like that, in my opinion, somewhere. And I mean, that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm not here to again be a commentator on what anybody says, because you know, it's anyway. Here is President Donald J. Trump on a tweet, and here's what he's saying. Donald J. Trump, at real Donald Trump. As I have stated before, and just to reiterate, if Turkey does anything that I, in my great and unmatched wisdom, consider to be off limits, I will destroy and obliterate Turkey's economy. Now, I just heard this morning here that the president of Turkey, President Erdogan, has refused even to discuss this with President Trump. He basically hung up the phone, but it sounds that way. And I don't want to talk to you no more, you know. So all of a sudden now there's no communication at all, and we're left here. Russia and Syria are going to carve up, carve up Syria, the way like the Russians and the Germans did with Poland. It looks that way, but you know, I mean, it's a disaster for the United States, for us. And when I watched on TV and saw that American flag fly in the air, retreating with those soldiers, I mean, I tell you, I don't know how much further we can absorb these defeats and humiliations, but I'm just saying it's too damn bad. That's all I have to say about that. Anyway, here is the third cartoon, and this is from October 12th, and this features the star, and the only star of this is Rudy Giuliani here. There he is, Rudy. Let's see if we get Rudy. There he is. Okay. There's Rudy. There. He looks a lot like he's been looking here in this. So anyway, yeah. Trump's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, now under scrutiny by Southern District of New York a district that he was once the leader of. He ran this office for years. He was the leader of the Southern District of New York, and he was a head prosecutor. And now he's being investigated by his own people, or his own organization that he used to run, after U.S. prosecutors arrest two of his business associates who are Soviet-born donors to a pro-Trump fundraising committee who both helped Giuliani's efforts to investigate Joe Biden. They were charged with alleged efforts to funnel foreign money into U.S. elections on behalf of at least one Ukrainian politician after being arrested at a nearby Washington International Airport while trying to board an international flight with a one-way tickets. Giuliani says the timing of their arrest is suspect, and he will reveal relevant facts very, very shortly. What Giuliani might reveal to prosecutors. Now, Mr. Giuliani has his own perception of his own heroic himself as a hero, as he seems to believe. So here is what, in my opinion, just trying to get into his thinking. Here's what I have him saying here, and this is Rudy saying, here's Rudy, to arrest these individuals just after having lunch with me at the Trump International Hotel, Washington, D.C., smells of a setup by the deep state colluding with the Democrats to legitimize President Trump's win, delegitimize President Trump's win. In other words, take away from the victory, the great victory, and this is the deep state coming after President Trump in a conspiracy to undermine his victory in that 2016 election. Like me, these men will go down in American history as heroes. So again, this is where Rudy is at right now, and it's not up to me to I'm not a magistrate or judge to judge him. He will be judged by the American system, and we have to have faith in that, and we still have to have faith in that, and we can't lose our faith in the American system of justice. And regardless of what happens, the American system, in my view, will prevail, and justice will prevail. And so wherever the chips may fall for Mr. Giuliani, that's the way it will be, and that's that. So in any event, I want to thank you for watching this video here, and you have a nice day, and I'll see you again. Take care. Bye.